So last time I went to the comic book shop, I picked up several issues of Infamous Ironman. And now that I'm getting back into superhero comics, I kind of know that it's a 50-50 shot when I pick up something I haven't gotten a strong recommendation from someone I trust. I know I'm taking a risk. But I did like the first two issues of Infamous Ironman I read. Basically, Dr. Doom's had a change of art. He wants to turn over a new leaf and become a superhero. But issue 10, written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by Alex Maleev, was painful to read because it was so dull. Now, I've heard my boy Zach talking about pacing for the trade, and I see what he's talking about, but pacing for the trade doesn't bother me as much personally because I read manga, and that's something that's naturally more slowly paced than the American superhero comic. However, there's no excuse for having 20 pages of essentially nothing happening, of characters sitting in a room with no background, staring blankly into space, and to the artist, no excuse for copying and pasting faces over and over and over again. I think there's equal blame for issue 10 being so dull. Brian Michael Bendis for writing, just a long, slow, dragged out series of scenes where almost nothing happens, and the artist for not bringing the A game to add drama to that. You've probably seen the picture going around viral of suggestions for drawings to do for all those scenes where people just stand around in a room talking, and how to make that dynamic. I even think Dan Slott had it as his profile pic or his header image for a while. But this is 101 level stuff, especially for Marvel Comics. And it's so dull, I don't really want to roast it. I want to do art critiques. I want to offer constructive criticism for people, essentially pros and cons. I don't think I have kind of like that roast god sense of humor, but I do think I can give people honest and straightforward critiques of how to do better. But issue 10 of Infamous Ironman was so dull, I don't want to look at it again. Rather, what I'd like to do is I'd like to read Blue Bug's Book of Colors by Virginia Powlett. And I don't want to dox myself because I wrote my name on this, but let's try to find the illustrator's name. Peggy Perry Anderson. Peggy Perry Anderson. So if Marvel Comics tomorrow decided to hire this duo and hire them to write the story of Dr. Doom turning over a new leaf and trying to become a superhero, and if they did it in a kindergarten reading level, and if it was drawn in this simple children's book style, I would have more confidence in buying that book, that I would get a good story that I could connect with than I do from Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev. They've hurt my trust by selling me an inferior product. And I think Maleev especially, I don't want to bash him too much because I think he's talented. I think I can't paint digitally that well. I'm a traditional painter. I've never really been able to transition into digital painting quite as well. So I admire him for that. He has a whole skill set that I struggle with. But it's frustrating to see someone talented cheating themselves and missing something really basic that would make everything so much better. And in Alex Maleev's case, it's human expression and human body language. So let's look at human expression and human body language in this book to get an idea of what Alex Maleev might do to improve himself. So what do we got? This is a colors book, and I think what makes this book a lot more fun to read while I'm tutoring than a million other Let's Learn Our Colors book is it actually has a subplot. It has a sense of humor because the characters are humanized. Blue Bug and Nat here, they're like little kids. Phoebe's like the mom. Kids make messes. Poor parents, they got to clean it up. You can identify with this as a kid or as a parent or a teacher reading this to a kid. You learn basic color theory, which might help some of the colorists at Marvel Comics these days, but we'll get into the color theory later. Let's focus on body language and expression today, and pacing, changing up the pace of the story using those elements. So I'll point out that I've never seen any kind of paint that looks like this. You don't fill up a giant tub-like cup all the way to the brim with watery, can't be acrylic. You'd never mix that much watercolor and then spill it all out and it looks like this. But this is the artist using their imagination to create something that helps the child understand the idea of red and yellow makes orange. So they're departing from reality a little bit, but in a way that helps make the point for a young mind. If it was a little dinky tub of paint like that spilled over and it was one little spot, you wouldn't get the immediate visual impact of red, yellow, orange. So good thinking compositionally for reinforcing what this book is trying to be. Second is variety in how the characters spill each set of colors. It's never quite the same each time. Sometimes it's climbing, sometimes it's bumping into it, they're tipping over the easel, and Phoebe and Bluebug and Nat's expressions change each time, and it helps build the idea towards the climax, which is the punchline of the whole book. So exasperation, looking up, rolling her eyes, hands on her head, can't believe this. Nat looking up, frowny face, angry eyebrow. Come on, Alex Maleev, you can do this. I know you can, bud. You're talented. Bluebug bonks back into the blue paint, spills it into the red paint. What's that make? Makes purple. Look at this. Look at how a children's book author and an illustrator can show us human expression, Marvel Comics. I've got a little frowny face with the purple paint dripping down, the hands are crossed, the knees are kind of trembling, and look at this, a contrast in expression. Phoebe's upset, she's pointing concerned. Oh, Bluebug, he's a little mischievous. He thinks he's getting a kick out of this. Skip a page so I don't get a copyright strike. Now look at this. Nat is now the one smiling at Bluebug, who's got pink paint all over his feet. So there's a little recompense here. These two insect characters, the one who are supposed to be stand-ins for kids, they behave like children. Phoebe behaves like a mother might in this situation. This is one I really like. So this is now the fourth or fifth spill, and it isn't just the same set of expressions every time. Now, Bluebug and Nat are hiding. They know they're in trouble, but Nat's letting us know that Phoebe isn't too mad at them. He's still got that smile, and now Phoebe's not just shocked or upset. Now she's irritated. She's getting tired of these kids and their mess. Even kind of these goofy cartoon expressions. This is way too cartoony for the tone of superhero comics, obviously, but all cartoon expressions have some basis in reality. So no one ever makes like a squiggly mouth like they do in Charles Schultz's Peanuts, but that connotes the idea of scrunching up your mouth because you're uncomfortable or hurt. And okay, this is my favorite. So this would be the equivalent of a big splash page in a Marvel comic book where they actually care about giving you an amazing visual experience with the art. So they're all set up. Bluebug's almost entirely hidden away, one little eye. You see Nat's expression of a smile, and everything together makes a mess. Look at that. That is a climax. Everything has been building up to this. A big paint sword fight with every color, and Phoebe, look at that. Kids love that. She's been surprised and upset this whole time. Now her antennae are emphasizing the expression. My goodness. And look at this. Phoebe made them clean up. This works as a punchline because we've been learning our colors this whole time. But this has also been a story about kids making a mess and their comeuppance and that they're sent to their room where they're grounded. That Phoebe makes them clean up. And Phoebe's kind of got the one who's got a smile on her face now. And they're a little cold and distressed and not happy that they have to take a shower. So this is a story with a beginning, a middle, an end. It's a setup, and not the best gag ever, but it's a gag you can connect with and find amusing if you have life experiences that tells you that this is what life is like, this is what human beings are like. And variety helps add more engagement into something where pretty much you're repeating the same idea. They spill the paint, it mixes. They spill the paint, it mixes. They spill the paint, it mixes. But body language and expression is what sells it. Alex Maleev, get on your game, son. All right, I love you. You can do this. I know the deadlines are tight, but when I see people who don't get basic expression, it's hard to ever trust an Infamous Ironman comic book with Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev on the title again. You're not just selling me a comic book. You're selling me your artwork, and you're communicating something to me about your integrity and your dedication to your craft. Let's go, guys.